The richest countries in the world are the countries that have the most suicide, anxiety, depression, and physical pain. And this is by many different measures, many different survey measures, many different types of studies. So clearly we have something very strange going on here, where the more we have of the kinds of ideal things that we think would make a good life, right? Lots of food, lots of fun stuff, lots of medicines to protect us from, illness and pain. We've clearly reached some kind of tipping point where we're now essentially more miserable than ever. And the question is why? Why would that be? And I do think that the pleasure-pain balance explains that. Because our primitive brains were not wired for an easy, hyper-convenient world, we are suffering as a result of all of this access to these feel-good, which is essentially what Dopamin Nation recommends, which is to say the first thing that we need to do is to cut out all of these feel-good substances and behaviors, at least for long enough for those neuroadaptation gremlins to hop off and for homeostasis to be restored.
Dopamine fasting.
Yeah, essentially dopamine fasting, right? And whatever your source of dopamine is, to cut it out for long enough. Now, in my clinical experience, in my practice, because I have patients who come in seeking help for anxiety, depression, insomnia, and the first thing that I will typically do is to have them cut out their feel-good drugs and behaviors. Very counterintuitive, right? Because you're going to feel worse before you feel better. Because as soon as you do take the weight off the pleasure side, you're going to get this balance slamming to the side of pain, because now you've accumulated all these gremlins, right? But if you wait long enough without using, they eventually do hop off. In my clinical practice, it takes a minimum of a month abstaining for that to happen.